The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Friday's edition of The Big Show on your Total Sports Station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey, Brendan Schaefer. Thanks for joining us today. Well, you heard it in the National Sports Center. It appears that Mizzou is going to have Beau back for quarterback on Saturday. How about it, Brendan?
Yep, that's the news we were looking for, and we got that upgrade to questionable last night. And then, evidently, according to the reports, practice this afternoon or this morning went well for Pribula, looked good and felt good. And so all indications are he's going to be back from Mizzou for this game, an opportunity to take down Oklahoma in Norman for the first time in nearly 60 years. I'm pumped that Beau is going to reportedly give it a go in this game.
We will get to that, what it could mean for Mizzou in this contest. Give us your predictions for it, 573-875-KTGR. Also, give us your predictions for Chiefs-Colts, big one for them in Kansas City this Sunday. They desperately need a win, cannot keep skidding any further. So get your predictions in for Chiefs-Colts at 5:05. Rob Veno joins us at 4:25. Our picks of the week at 5:45. There's coaching carousel news today. Lots to get to on a Friday. So join us. You can also watch us live right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. Also live on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Reports say that Beau Pribula will be starting tomorrow for Mizzou against the Oklahoma Sooners. This would come 4 weeks after he suffered a dislocated ankle against Vanderbilt in that game that the Tigers lost. It was their second loss of the year, but Pribula was upgraded to questionable last night on the SEC availability report. We'll see what it maybe says tonight, whether there's any update to that. But the reports from Pete Thamel of ESPN and Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports say that Pribula is in line to start at quarterback for Mizzou tomorrow. And again, the Tigers at number 22 in the college football playoff poll face number 8 Oklahoma in Norman. As Brendan said, looking for their first win in Norman since 1966. 11 a.m. kickoff. Pregame begins with the Yingling Tiger Game Day show at 8 o'clock right here. And that's the Big Show's big deal. On this 21st day of November, 2025, call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR. I mean, this is very optimistic news, I think, for Mizzou's chances. Like, it's just, I know the offense did not look great under Beau Pribula right before he got injured. It was still kind of stagnating, and they were trying to get out of a rut. And it's not to say that they're all of a sudden going to get out of it against this very tough Oklahoma defense. But if you, at this point in the week, feel that Beau Pribula is healthy enough to be out there and everybody's good, and Eli Drinkwitz's got into all of the different circles that he talked about, saying, are we good? Beau can play. Trainers, Beau can play. Beau's folks, Beau can play. Then, yeah, I feel confident that Beau Pribula will be pretty much the similar Beau Pribula like we saw pre-injury.
Yeah, I have no idea the degree to which the mobility is going to be the same exact mobility as it was, because I think until he gets into game speed and really feels what that feels like to have the defensive pass rush bearing down on you and you need to evade the pocket and it's do or die in those moments, like that's when we'll really find out the degree to which his mobility is the same. But I think the news that he's able to play, and again, it's not, I don't think they do this if they would consider it any risk to his health, like the dodo birds for Oklahoma that I've interacted with on Twitter this week. Oh, you don't want to start him against our pass rush, as though it's not any, more of a fearsome
pass rush could re-injure the ankle. Like, that's the
number
thing.
One, any pass rush could re-injure the ankle. Number two, as though it's not, you've got this great alternative of a true freshman that's played just a couple of games and throw him to the wolves. Like, either way, it is a situation where you're taking on a team that's really good up front defensively. That's football, though. Like, that's the way the sport is played. And to your point, any pass rush theoretically could be a hindrance to a quarterback that's on a bum ankle. So I don't know. We'll see what it ends up looking like. But again, if he's cleared medically and he's as full of a full speed as you can deduce out of a practice scenario, then he's absolutely the right choice to start the game for Missouri, because I just think Matt Zollers, though his future may be bright, we've seen enough data to this point in 2025 to suggest that he's just not quite on that level yet of being able to take in the game at the speed that it's played in the SEC. Not all of it's his fault. The offensive line protecting him a little bit more capably would maybe have made things a little bit less bleak in the A&M game. But I don't really think in the Mississippi State game, the O-line had a bad game by any means. They obviously did a great job in the run blocking game. But I would say in those passing situations, the shortcomings for Zollers were more about just not really feeling the rhythm of the game, those short to intermediate passes, which is an area that I think Beau actually thrives in, just being able to get the ball out of his hands quick and let the screen game take place. But for Zollers, it was like he was throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, even when you needed just a pitch and catch type of deal. And I thought that showed up a little bit in the Mississippi State game. So all that being considered, I don't know that it means the Tigers are going to win the game. It's still going to be a tough road to hoe, but I think Beau gives you the best chance.
Yeah, and you can let us know what that does to how you would predict the game, Mizzou fans. 573-875-5847 if you want to get your predictions in. But you're right. It seems like he will have more control over it. He'll not be fazed by a lot of those moments. If you go into a harsh environment, and like for a true freshman, it would be, I'm sure, harder to handle. This would have been, if it was still Matt Zollers, the first road start that he had in his college career. So, and I know he played on the road against Vanderbilt, but didn't start that game. And this is a different environment. No offense to Everbank Stadium.
Offense to Everbank Stadium.
Okay,
we had half of the stadium filled with Mizzou fans.
Yeah.
It's a complete dump of a stadium, and it took an hour and a half to get out of it because they've only got 2 gates in and out of the place, and it's all one level, and the stairs are not accessible until you get out to the area where the seats are. It is an absolute nightmare of a stadium. So all offense intended to Everbank Stadium. I don't know if I got to rant about this as much as I maybe would have had Mizzou won the Vandy game.
Twice, yeah.
But I just needed to say it again because, no, we don't need to pull punches when it comes to that dump of a stadium. But anyway, yes, it would have been a tough environment
Everbank
to play
Stadium or College Station. What's more, it's higher on Brendan's hit list.
Yeah. If you could pick up that stadium and move it into College Station, Texas, it would officially become the worst football road trip that you could possibly endure as a fan. At least Kyle Field has those big ramps that, like, no, it's not quickly that you're going to get out of there. You're still kind of being herded like cattle, but at least you don't have people right on top of you because they've got some space, because they understand that it's a football venue where thousands and thousands of people are going to be. And so you have to account for that in the way that you set up your logistics. Yes, they don't care about that at all, apparently, in Nashville. But to your point that I think you were making, yes, playing at OU would have been a more menacing environment than what he endured at Nashville at Vandy, because I really do think it was like at least 40%, maybe 50-50 Mizzou fans in Nashville that day.
And so with Pribula now, what do you reasonably expect with this? Like, because again, like, Mizzou can look better than they maybe were going to with Matt Zollers in there, but will we actually see it? Because again, that's OU's defense over there.
Right.
I mean, yeah, their fans talk a lot about the pass. Like, their pass rush is very good. Very good. Elite.
Especially
even
if they get Armace and Thomas back, which I expect they will.
Yeah,
it's been questionable.
Better that way. Yeah. So
which is what it is, right? They've got dudes regardless. So you have to, offensive line, I feel like I say this every week, but the offensive line is going to have to really help out and have a grade A game. And some of those guys like Caden Green, which is obviously, this is obviously kind of that narrative is going to be surrounding this game, regardless of whether he plays great, plays poorly. He's going to be a topic of conversation going back and playing against Oklahoma. But let's just look at some of the games that Beau has had. Again, I mean, played well in the Kansas game, threw for a bunch of yards. South Carolina didn't really throw for a ton of yards, had an interception in that game. But then you start to get into more of the comparables. Alabama's defense. Now, that was a home game, but Beau was 162 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions as well. Ran for 61 yards. That was a nice bonus. Ran a touchdown in. Great to see. Auburn game, uneven performance, ended up with 252 passing yards, was a key reason that Mizzou was able to get over the hump late in that game, Andy, but no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Did have a rushing score in the game when they really needed it.
Yeah, he was the reason why they won that game. So
he, as much as the stat line doesn't sing to you, that would be the one I would cling to and say, to this point, Auburn is the best defense Missouri has seen with Beau Pribula starting. You can talk about A&M versus Auburn. Probably still lean Auburn. That's a really good defense. I would say that that's the game that you go, man, he did ultimately come through with some passing success in that game, but I would say Auburn as a team, obviously lesser than Oklahoma. But if you're just comparing the defenses, he made mistakes as well, like a couple of interceptions in that game. We don't recall the Auburn game just being this steady, awesome experience of watching Beau Pribula play quarterback. Got it done in the end, but obviously made a lot of mistakes in that game earlier. He's probably got to play better than he played against Auburn to beat Oklahoma, because Oklahoma's got an offense, and at the time, Auburn just flat out did not have one with Jackson Arnold at quarterback. I don't know how much more. Like, if you can erase the mistakes from the Auburn game and just bottle up the good stuff he did down the stretch, that'd be pretty good. But how realistic is that when you're facing a really good defense?
I mean, we saw it a bunch, and we saw it all the way up until he got hurt. Like, the turnovers were still there. The turnovers were an issue. And so with you going up against the team that knows for sure how to turn you over or how to put you in uncomfortable situations in the backfield that can make you more prone to giving up the football, making a bad throw, whatever it might be. I mean, we understand that Beau could be more poised than at this moment Matt Zowers would be going into this environment, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're protecting the football with the same kind of regularity as you would anyway, because man, that defense is really good over there. And Mizzou is going to have to stay in this game by not allowing the crowd to get extra juice, extra momentum, another thing to cheer about once this thing gets started.
You know what takes the crowd out of it, which, by the way, you can't take the crowd out of it. Like, we'll say that every time on the road, it's not a thing. Crowd's going to be amped for 4 quarters. But the way that you can mitigate the crowd a little bit is by doing what Mizzou does best and run the football. It's also going to be the thing that helps the quarterback that you said the word poise, and I don't think Beau Pribula has poise. I think that's given him more credit than what we have seen from him. He has athleticism that allows him to escape the pocket at times and to extend plays and maybe try to mitigate some of the damage that could happen. I didn't really see poise from him. I saw him consistently evading the pocket, like the Auburn game as an example. There were times where he looked skittish, but I would say the offensive line is performing better more recently than it was during that stretch of the season. And so if you get that consistent line play, maybe you see a little bit more of that poise come out from Beau. I wouldn't say poise, though. I would say for Beau, the reason I would call him an upgrade over Zollers in this matchup is because of that, the short passing stuff that we talked about. If they can dial up, and Kirby Moore's got his work cut out for him, but if they can dial up some of that short to intermediate passing, I think Beau's going to give you the poise of not just rifling it as hard as he can throw it for 5 yards to a guy. Like, he's going to be able to hit the rhythm of some of those throws a little more capably than what I expect Zollers to be able to do. And he can evade the pocket more than I would expect Zollers to maybe have in his bag of tricks. Although Zollers has some mobility, I think Beau is an upgrade at that, assuming that the ankle is as close to 100% as it can be.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Dan saying, feels to me OU just eliminated the forward pass as a worry for their defense.
I don't think that the forward pass was a very good option for Mizzou with Matt Zollers. I mean, Mississippi State is not a great pass defense. Zollers went 8 for 15 for 112, and most of it happened at the beginning of the game where you're scripting some things, and they got a good chunk on an offsides where he and Olubide recognized what happened, and they connected on a really great play by both gentlemen. Zollers had a bad game against Mississippi State. Like, he didn't play well. Outside of that first, couple of drives where it looked like it was in rhythm, there got to a point in the second half where you wanted to be able to maybe dial up some passing plays, and it just realistically, it was a very long shot proposition with the way that the game was playing out. So I don't think that if Zollers were in there, we could think about this idea that the downfield passing attack was going to be great, because the 2 starts that he's had, it just wasn't there.
And look, it's gonna the passing attack is gonna have to be there to some degree for Mizzou to go off and pull an upset in this one, because
but play to your strengths.
Sure, but what if they take it away? Then is it just not your day?
Well, if they take away the run, if they take away the run, it's not your day. Like if Hardy ends up 24 carries for 58 like he did against Auburn, they're not going to win.
Okay.
You disagree?
Well, it makes it very tough. I mean, with a thing like Beau Pribula can go and still put more on his back like he did against Auburn. The question then becomes, though, because Auburn was not as capable of answering or taking advantage of their defense in the same way that Oklahoma might. So then you look at the other side and say, okay, well, Mizzou's defense, can you keep your offense in this game for as long as possible?
I think you need the defense and you need the run game. The run game doesn't have to give you 300 yards, but I think you need Hardy to have a good, solid game. I think Jamal Roberts comes in for 6 to 8 carries and averages 5 yards per carry because he's got juice. You're noticing that the offensive line is winning enough times to get Hardy a little bit of space. We talked about that rushing team total of like 155.5. It's actually went up a little bit today to 158.5, where I had seen it yesterday. I don't think you have to clear that, but I think you have to be providing a pretty good, steady run game to have a chance. But yes, if you're not blowing them away on the ground, Beau Pribula is going to have to make some plays. I think, though, it's that 5 to 7 to 8 yard passing game where it's a screen and it doesn't get blown up in the backfield. You get the 4 or 5 yards that you need. It's the rollout to Norfleet. And if you scheme it well and you use it at the right moment, you might work that for 10 to 15 yards because he gets a little bit of yak before he steps out of bounds and doesn't hurt his shoulder. Like, you're going to need to nickel and dime them down the field with a combination of the short to intermediate passing game and the rush game. I don't really care about explosive plays because I don't realistically think this is a passing offense that's capable of producing them. You might have had an off chance to do it with Zollers, but I don't think that was the strength of your game. That's why I say you lean into your strengths. I don't just mean the run. I mean the Beau Pribula passing offense that we saw working at times against Kansas or late in the game against Auburn. It wasn't just like drop back and huck it 40 yards. It's rhythm passing and being able to go first down, second down, third and short, get your first down. And that's a hard way to live, but I think that's the best path to being able to win this game. Kind of try to control time of possession, trust that you're going to execute when you get into the red zone, which is, it's not going to be easy. But don't you think anytime that they get stopped on first down and then they chuck it downfield incomplete and it's 3rd and 9, you might as well just punt it. I mean, it's not really going to be the type of game where I feel like on 3rd and 9, they can wheel and deal and chuck it downfield. That's going to be a really difficult ask against this defense.
More often than not, you're not going to be able to survive that way. So yes, you have to have something consistent, like 3 to 4 yards is okay.
Yes,
on
whether you're
plays.
passing or running.
So that's true.
No negative plays, and give me 3rd and 5 or less, and we'll take our shot at it.
So I mean, with Mizzou's ability to give it to both Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts, and I would love to see just once or twice, because it doesn't need to be your identity. We haven't seen it in 10 games so far. Put them both on the field and see how a defense responds. Like,
sure.
What do you do?
Have a package for that you run a play out of it, and then you bring it again later in the second quarter, and it's something different that you run out of it.
It doesn't have to be a full on like scheme. Like every so often, throw one of them out in the slot, even like motion them out or motion them back into the backfield, whatever it might be. Like I hope they have at least been experimenting with that in some way, knowing that both of these running backs have been showing an electric ability to break a game open.
2 of their best players. And look, even if you say, well, what about Alubade? What about, but it's also more conceivable to get the ball into the hands of these players because having them in the backfield isn't unusual, right? Like you could put Alubade in the backfield if you just wanted to be holding the football, but I don't think that's been the skill set that he's demonstrated. These guys can move around the field. I don't know how much that becomes a difficulty, like to introduce new concepts or concepts that they haven't leaned on when you're just getting Beau back into the lineup and, his role in orchestrating the things that need to happen when it comes to motions and things like that. But I don't mind the idea. I think it would be an interesting concept to consider.
Because even if it's not slated to go to even either guy, you get all of your players, as many dangerous players as you can on the field, and you see how a defense reacts. And ball doesn't have to go to every single one of them. Like, you just find what they give you based on how they react to, okay, who are we most afraid of could break off this play? And then you allow the left open, dangerous player that you have to get the football in his hands and do some magic.
And don't get into a situation like against Texas A&M where you become so predictable that your most talented, threatening players are getting the ball, but the defense already knows what's coming, and so they're going to stop it. Yeah, we're going to run the ball a lot, but like try to vary your looks a little bit, and definitely if there's any sort of tipping going on from how the linemen are lining up or anything of that nature, you've got to get that eradicated, because you can't play with a hand tied behind your back in this game. This is going to be a game where you got to play pretty clean. I'd love to see the defense come out with the same intensity we saw against Mississippi State and potentially win a turnover margin. Maybe you get a short field or a defensive score. Oklahoma's benefited in their last couple of games from scoring with their defense, and they haven't necessarily outplayed their opponents in these games. They beat Alabama, but if you look at net success rating, they didn't outplay Alabama, kind of like Missouri's story against both Bama and Vandy. Oklahoma's been the beneficiary of that. So if it's just as liable the way Missouri's defense played and like showed the intensity against Mississippi State, that they could be on the plus side of something like that. You cannot have the targetings. You cannot have the personal fouls. That's the one thing that how Drink is able to compel his team to play with that same intensity that he showed or that they showed against the Bulldogs without having the recklessness attached to it. I don't know the answer to that, because if you're telling guys just be aggressive, sometimes stupid penalties happen. They've got to find that line, though, in this matchup.
Call or text us with your score predictions, 875-KTGR. All right, Mizzou, Oklahoma, who you got?
I don't think I can predict a win. This will be the first time all year where I don't, but it's not because I think Oklahoma's offense is, gonna run all over Mizzou's defense. I think Mizzou's gonna play a pretty good defensive game. I expect, though, it to be a miniature version of A&M where first half you're feeling pretty good about it, but then as the second half goes, we got to find that touchdown drive to be able to kind of keep pace, and it gets a little bit away from you. This morning I thought 23-14. I'll give Mizzou a little bit more credit than that. They find their way to 23-16, I will say. But I think it's probably short of a cover on the current spread. And I think it's a game that is a rock fight, but it's not quite the rock fight that gets Mizzou the much needed, desired victory in Norman.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm going to go 27-17 OU. Which
gives me no pleasure. But I this is one of those, even in the face of, some games where it was like, this is going to be rough, I've been trying to pick Mizzou anyway. And this one is where I kind of have to maybe let reality set in. The Oklahoma team is good. They're going to want their lick back anyway after last year. There's a lot of coaching rumors flying around. I don't know how much that plays into Missouri's detriment. Drink is a really good motivator. He'll be able to get his team ready to play this game. They're not thinking about next year. They're thinking about tomorrow. But you do kind of wonder in the back of your mind how much that it just is a culmination of a lot of things. And to be fair, I haven't seen Eli Drinkwitz's team win this game yet. I've never seen it happen. So it's kind of to the point where I'm not belaboring that fact, but I'm also going, all right, on the road,
gotta see it to believe it. Yeah.
I've bought into these road environments before, and I don't have the emotional energy to do it. If Drink had done the Kenny Dillingham, I was never leaving this week, maybe I would feel different. But I'm my emotional energy is split right now as a Mizzou fan, and that makes it tough. So I'll be rooting for it, though. I hope they pull it off. But I think even with Beau, they just might be a player too short. Tell me where you've heard that before.
It's happened several times this year. It's happened in the past. We'll see if Mizzou can change their luck this weekend, though. 11 a.m. kickoff. You'll hear the Yingling Tiger Game Day show at 8 a.m. tomorrow here on KTGR. Be sure to watch it with us over at the Deuce Pub and Pit. We'll have Flight by Yingling. We'll have some KTGR t-shirts you can win, a chance to win some Mizzou basketball tickets, and go get all the details over at KTGR.com and on our KTGR app for our Mizzou, Oklahoma watch party with Yingling over at the Deuce Pub and Pit. Hope you join us for it at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, what does Rob Veno think about Mizzou, Oklahoma? We'll ask him about that and several other college and NFL games for the weekend next on The Big Show.
This the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are knowledgeable car people, great folks to work with, and they make sure you get a great deal, too. If you head over to leestirecompany.com, you can check out all of the great rebates that you can get on select tires. And if you're in the market for new tires right now, well, now's a great month to do it because Lee's Tire Company, all throughout the month of November, is giving you a free front-end alignment if you buy 4 new tires. So not only are you getting a top-notch crew to find the right tires for your vehicle, but you're also getting that free front-end alignment. Again, good through the end of this month. So head into Lee's Tire Company to take advantage of that now. And on top of that, their work is backed up by a 36 months, 36,000 miles nationwide warranty. Keeps you safe on the road, keeps you safe in your wallet as well. Head into Lee's Tire Company. There are 2 locations in Columbia, one on the Business Loop, another one at University Garage right by the MU campus, or their location in Centralia, or online at leestirecompany.com. Because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
Hey, Lenny. George, good to see you. Yeah, well, it ain't so good to see you, pal. I wish you'd kept quiet all those years. Family Pawn's got all the hunting gear people need to do exactly that. Bows, scopes, ammo, everything. Doing what, George? Look at you, mounted on the wall for everybody to see. Not gonna lie, George. I sort of like hanging around. Their fireplace feels real nice.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
I want to go to Family Pawn.
It's hard to believe basketball season is already here. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill reminds you that whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you just want to plop down with some friends and watch some hoops on TV, they've got a spot for you. 1851 Underground has drink specials and discount happytizers for happy hour. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
You know your former golf bag? It's not just holding up the weed whacker on your garage wall. It's also holding cash. Same goes for that rowing machine you swore you'd use once. At Play It Again Sports, turn your gently used gear into money in your pocket. Bring in your old golf equipment, fitness gear, softball bats, baseball cleats, and more. Cash out and keep it or trade up to something better. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
At Fuse 32 Marketing, creativity isn't just encouraged, it's essential. We're growing as a marketing agency, which means we're ready to grow our team of social and digital marketing specialists, graphic designers, writers, and producers. At Fuse 32, we elevate our clients' brands by creating bold branding strategies and bringing fresh ideas to the table. We are Fuse 32 Marketing, and we're always looking for the next wave of creators to join us. Fuse 32, there's nothing we can't do. Apply now at fuse32.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy and Brendan here as we get set for another football weekend. And that means in your jurisdiction of legality, only a couple more weekends that we have to even say that. So looking forward to that, of course. But talking all things football from the Vegas perspective now with Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. You can find him on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports and go to WagerTalk.com to see all of their great betting info. Now, Robbie, with Mizzou, Oklahoma, and now the real possibility, it seems, the Beau Pribula is going to be the starting quarterback. Seems through the reports that he is in line to start the game and come back from the dislocated ankle. So how do you view it from your end based on what we see on the spread with Oklahoma starting as a little more than a touchdown favorite, but now it's maybe come down a little bit?
Yeah, certainly the news of Beau Pribula spread pretty quickly, and the number came straight down 9.5 down to 6.5. And I think the situational side of the game, guys, is definitely in Missouri's favor. You have Oklahoma off of the huge win last week. 23-22, in a game where they were dominated statistically, right? I think Alabama almost doubled Oklahoma's total yardage. Oklahoma was only in the 200s total yardage-wise. Alabama well over 400, but some things went right, pick six, etc. And OU gets out of there with a win. Now back home as a favorite. Generally a situation where football handicappers like to play the road dog, and especially when the road dog has their starting quarterback back. I would say, just as a general perspective of this industry and the guys betting these games, I think Missouri lost a little bit of, let's call it betting affection the last couple of weeks. And I don't know that the market was as quick in the beginning of the week to realize that they're still a pretty good team with Hardy running the football and the defense. So I think they're a pretty good play, guys, with 6.5 points here. Mizzou's still a lot to play for. OU, I'm not going to say that they played their game of the year last week, but it certainly was a game that they had full focus on. And maybe that full focus isn't, it's hard to play a game like that twice in a row. Let's put it that way. I get that they were in front of home fans, and John Mateer, a guy I'm real high on at quarterback, is playing better as weeks go by, but they're still not dominant on offense. And honestly, I think Mizzou's got the weaponry to do a little damage on that defense. Against that defense, we saw Alabama do it last week. They just didn't win the game. Plus 6.5 looks like a good way to go.
Robbie, what do you think about the total in this game with the two defenses going at one another? It's pretty low for a college game in the 42.5 range, but you could conceivably see this being a rock fight, or kind of how do you view it with the news of Pribula added to the mix?
Yeah, even a rock fight, Brendan, ends 23-20, in modern day college football. And that's kind of enough to get this thing over at 42.5 right now. Good weather in Norman. There's nothing wrong with the weather tomorrow, so you don't have that issue to deal with. Both teams probably capable of making explosive plays. Oklahoma even capable, as we saw last week, on the defensive end. I wouldn't sell Missouri short in that department either. But I like the play calling of both of these offensive coordinators. I figure there's a little something in the playbook for Missouri and Oklahoma that the other side hasn't seen yet. I wouldn't play it under. I'll put it that way. It's just too easy to get to 43 in modern day college football. You can almost do it by accident. So I would probably look toward overseeing that there's no real weather indications here. And it is interesting, guys, that this number, the total open 42.5, has only been pushed in minimal spots to 43. Otherwise, you still almost have a universal number of 42.5. Yet the side itself has come down 3 points from 9.5 to 6.5. So the two didn't correlate side in total. Bettors just liking Missouri right now with the starting quarterback back and not really changing their opinions on what's been a stagnant total all season, all week long.
It is an interesting aspect of it. Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Another SEC game that could be intriguing tomorrow when Vanderbilt hosts Kentucky. And look, Kentucky has looked a little bit better over the last few weeks. They have bowl eligibility within their grasp, but they're going to have to pull off an upset either this week or next week to do it. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt as a heavy favorite in this game, but how do you view the offense being able to put up the points requisite enough to be able to keep a Kentucky defense as away as possible?
Yeah, and I guess when you're talking about Kentucky, especially on the road, the counter to that is always, can Kentucky put up the requisite points required to cover a number at less than 10? The offense is so sporadic at times, and you just wonder if Vanderbilt gets ahead in the game and Kentucky has to chase, are they capable of doing so? Or does that turn into more 3-and-outs and more turnovers, et cetera, where the margin snowballs? So you really have to, it kind of depends on how you view the game being played from the outset. And that's such a difficult thing to project. Obviously, in sports betting, it's such an inexact science. It's hard to tell, but you have to consider all angles here. For me, I would think that Vanderbilt still a lot on the line where they are concerned to play for. So you'll get a really good effort out of them. I guess in this case, guys, all you're trusting is the Kentucky defense for the most part. Because like I say, the offense has shown signs, I think, in 2 of the last 5 weeks. But that's not enough for me to think that they're going to get to 20 points here, which is probably what it takes to cover this game against Vanderbilt, because I would say their offense is good enough to get to 27 at home against almost anybody. If I had to play it, I would play the Vandy side. The market has played a little bit of Kentucky here, 9.5 down to 8.5. But it's probably a game that I won't be involved in.
Rob, what about the Arkansas Razorbacks? They were a factory for the over for a while, but it was a muted output against LSU last week. Texas coming off that loss to Georgia. Are they going to be looking to pour it on? This is a total that's pushing closer to 60 points, but I'm curious if there's any desire to go over with the potential for these two offenses.
I think there could be, because you throw into that equation 2 offenses and the Arkansas defense, which is just miserable, can be scored on by just about anybody at this point in time. I think you have to calculate if it's even possible without being in the locker room, without being on the practice field. You have to calculate where Texas's mindset is at. That loss to Georgia all but eliminated them from college football playoff consideration at this point in time. And the season, coming into the season, there were some folks who rated them number 1 in the country. And so does it become an instant disappointment? Texas-Arkansas was a great rivalry for a whole lot of years in the old Southwest Conference and then a little bit beyond that. So I don't think that rivalry lets up here. I just think Arkansas, with Bobby Petrino trying to put his stamp on a firm position as head coach of that team, the way they played LSU last week, and I know Texas is better than LSU, but again, this is a game where Arkansas, I think they had 4 trips inside the LSU 30. If I'm not mistaken, 3 were potential touchdowns turned away by either turnovers or stopped on downs. And then the 4th one was a missed field goal. They had 24 points they could have had in that game if all went their way. Instead, they lose by 1, kind of a heartbreaking loss. I know a lot of colleagues of mine that are on the Arkansas side here. You do see the number coming down. And I think that, what I get from talking to these people, guys, is that they just don't think Texas will be up for this game and Arkansas will. And in college football, sometimes that one ingredient makes all the difference in the world. So we'll see. But I probably lean with that opinion and try Arkansas plus points here.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. Well, how do you feel about the total between USC and Oregon? It seems that Oregon's a team that has really bowed up defensively here. Do you lean maybe more under towards Oregon games now, or have odds makers made that correction yet?
Okay, and as you were talking, Andy, I was sitting here thinking to myself, Brendan asked about the total in that game, and I gave you a side opinion. So Arkansas, Texas, I'll just backtrack real quick. If I was playing, I'd be on over. I think I started that by saying the Arkansas defense can be scored on by anybody, and for that reason, I would think it gets to be a higher scoring game. Oregon, USC. USC for me is always a one-way ticket. You play them over or you don't play the game at all. There's been some reasons why I felt that way this year, and they seem to still be true. 12 weeks into the season. Now, last week I was pretty high on that USC-Iowa game going over the low number of 48.5 and I don't know if we talked about it on this show in particular, but I talked about it on a few other shows. Friday night or Friday evening here on the East Coast, the weather report for Southern California came through as being rain. So I had to back out of that bet, and thank goodness I did, because they still fell 1 point short. I think that total in the Iowa game was 47. It does go to show you that USC can score 26 against an excellent defense, even in really bad conditions. Their offense is what it is. They're going to score on just about anybody, even Oregon's defense. That being said, USC defensively does one thing good and one thing good only, and that's rush the passer. If they don't get to your quarterback, they get gashed. Iowa had a big first half against that team last week. I think Oregon will have a big game against USC's defense, and USC will answer back with some punches of their own. I know Notre Dame's real interested in this game because as the debate rages on between Notre Dame and Miami, who should be in, who should be out, it's way too early to tell, but I know that debate is out there. Notre Dame's, only quality win right now is over USC. So I know they don't want USC getting blown out here, but I would play this game over the total. It should find its way into the 60s.
Robbie, I want to ask you about some NFL, and we'll start with the Chiefs. They obviously need a win this weekend, but does that manifest into them being able to cover the 3.5-point spread against the Colts? They're playing at home, a rare noon on a Sunday game for Kansas City, but can they get this passing offense going enough to get up and over this minus 3.5?
You know, they hurt my accounts, guys, about as bad as any game has hurt my accounts this year last week against Denver. I thought they were going to win that game. I thought they were going to win it by 6 or more. They didn't. And I don't know if you guys share this perspective, but I'll just tell you, man, I kind of think Patrick Mahomes lost that game for that team. First drive of the first half, their first drive of the second half. First drive of the first half, he's got Xavier Worthy running all alone behind the defense. He overthrows 7 points. Couple plays later, comes back. They try to get over the top again. They do. He misses that pass. And then to start the second half, they march right down the field and he gets picked on like the 2-yard line. So both of those drives to begin halves kind of took any real momentum Kansas City could have stolen from Denver in that game, took it away from them, and it went on to be just a nip and tuck battle. Here, you're right. They have to win. Doesn't mean they win by 6 against a really good football team whose quarterback has now been cleared to play. I don't think it means that. But I do think you'll see points. I don't know. It could just be me. I feel like that passing offense it's got to click at some point in time. These passes should be completed, especially by a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. Indianapolis is not the best defense around. So I see 49.5 guys on what should be a pretty good track, and I think this game should go over. I'll say this last thing in closing, that the Kansas City defense showed me last week, and Denver's got a pretty good offensive line. Indianapolis is elite, but they're going to be able to open holes in the run game for Jonathan Taylor. So Indianapolis is going to score here in my estimation, and I think KC at home will answer back. Over 49.5, I think, is a good play.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show KTGR. You know, I'm not seeing much correction yet. Maybe we see it soon, but he hasn't necessarily been declared or ready to play yet. But Joe Burrow potentially returning for the Bengals as they're something like 7-point underdogs in this game against the Patriots. Does that then lend some value? I mean, he's practiced in full all week. They haven't said for sure that he's playing, but how do you kind of view that situation, Rob?
I think it would lend real value if Jamar Chase wasn't out there spitting on people. Certainly Joe Burrow feels that way, I'm sure. If he had Chase in the lineup to go with Higgins, not that they're, void of weapons as far as the receiving core is considered. I think T. Higgins can step up and be a one, et cetera, but it would have been a lot better against a New England pass defense, guys, that as good as they've been all season long, if there is a flaw in New England so far this year, and it started in week 1, it's the pass defense. You can attack them as long as you can keep your quarterback upright. New England defends the run as good as anybody, but not the pass. And Joe Burrow and company can move the ball through the air. So I think if Chase were in this game, I would certainly have gotten to Cincinnati here. I'll say this, Cincinnati's in the type of mode that Baltimore was in a couple of weeks ago, where every single week is a playoff game now. The Ravens have responded real well in that role the last 3 weeks. Cincinnati has to see if they can respond, because if they lose here and lose next week, I don't even know why you would play Burrow anymore this season if he's genuinely hurt. The thing that comes into play, and the thing that people have bet as well as New England, is the total. Cincinnati is just an automatic. Their defense is an automatic fade. You play against them. And New England certainly can move the football. And then if you think Joe Burrow can do enough against that defense through the air, it's been bet up to 51, which is a key number. You can shop a couple 50.5s out there if you do a real good job. But I could see that end of it more than anything else.
Robbie, what's your free pick this weekend?
How about we just go to tonight, guys? College football game, West Coast, late night. People that want to stay up, watch UNLV Hawaii. If I knew Jaden Thomas was playing running back for sure for UNLV, I would have played this even bigger, but I still like the over in this game, 64 points. Hawaii's offense, that run and shoot. Again, Timmy Chang told us back in the summer, anybody that would listen, it's the best version of run and shoot he's had. Micah Alahado, the quarterback, since he's been healthy with that ankle, the last 6 weeks, that pass offense has been dominant. They ripped San Diego State last week, and San Diego State's got the best defense in that conference. So Hawaii will get theirs against a shoddy UNLV defense, and Dan Mullen's offense has been good all season long. I see a shootout, guys, maybe something in the 41-35 range in this one. So I played over 64. I'll leave that for your audience as the best bet this weekend.
We love it. Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the big show KTGR for sports from a Vegas perspective. Go and check out WagerTalk.com and follow Robbie at Rob Veno Sports on Twitter. Robbie, enjoy the weekend. Thanks for coming on as always. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. Have a good holiday. I'll get with you in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. It's the big show on at 447 KTGR and the KTGR app. Got a live local sports center coming up, and then under the bus to announcements of announcements. We love this around this time of year in the coaching
Announcements of announcements.
Announcing that there will be an announcement.
I'm trying to keep pace, but we'll cover it all, I'm sure.
We'll try our best next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Beau Pribula is expected to get the start for Missouri tomorrow against number 8 Oklahoma. That's according to Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports. Pete Thamel of ESPN also reporting similarly that the expectation is that Beau Pribula will return tomorrow at quarterback after suffering a dislocated ankle 4 weeks ago against Vanderbilt. Pribula and the Tigers looking for their first win over Oklahoma, Mizzou's first win over Oklahoma in Norman since 1966. Kickoff at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Pre-game with the Yingling Tiger Game Day Show at 8 a.m. tomorrow right here on KTGR. Mizzou men's basketball with a 102-68 victory over South Dakota last night to remain unbeaten. Double-double for Javon Porter, 19 points, 12 rebounds, and he was a perfect 9 of 9 from the floor. Mizzou 6-0. Their next game is against South Carolina State on Tuesday night. And the Chiefs look to stop a 3-game losing skid as they take on the Indianapolis Colts. Chiefs are currently 9th in the AFC standings. Kickoff is at Arrowhead on Sunday at noon. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson. Looks like some clouds are going to be lingering throughout the rest of this evening with very light and brief showers possible, but by the time we get into tomorrow morning, it will be rather dry. Sunshine coming back out. By the afternoon hours, temperatures getting into the mid-50s. Should be a good afternoon to get outdoors. Pretty similar story on Sunday, although some increase in cloud cover expected throughout the day. Temperatures getting into the low 60s. You'll definitely want to make sure to go out and enjoy it. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Chiefs Kingdom lives here.
This is the Chiefs Kingdom.
Kansas City! Tune in every Monday night at 6 for the Chiefs Kingdom Show, hosted by the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis. Hear from head coach Andy Reid and your favorite Chiefs players all season long. After every game, enter the doors to the Chiefs Kingdom. Monday nights at 6, powered by Macadoodles, Steve's Pest Control, and your total sports station for all things Chiefs. KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Very soon, in about a week, we'll all be gathering together with our friends, with our family around the table and sharing everything that we are thankful for. But here's the thing. Your trees will thank you if you take care of tree pruning this winter. And it's easy to forget about, but it is crucial for your tree's health as they try to come back stronger for the spring. So let Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions help you out with that. They are licensed and insured. They serve Columbia, Jeff City, and Fulton. And if you work with Eric, I'm telling you, you'll be friends with Eric. He'll take care of everything your trees need. He'll give you a fair price for the work, and you can be satisfied knowing that your trees will be as healthy as ever once we come out of this winter period. So get tree pruning done. Schedule it now. Go to AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com for an estimate. Your trees will thank you if you do. Go to AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions.
There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to football weekends, and that's what makes Yingling such a great pick. From traditional lager to light lager, flight, golden pilsner, and black and tan, they brew a beer for everyone's taste. Whether you're manning the grill, setting up the tailgate, or just watching with friends, Yingling's got a flavor that fits the moment. Brewed with nearly 200 years of tradition by the oldest brewery in America, Yingling. Legends stand the test of time. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
If you're tired of telling that one guy that, yes, meetings are mandatory, and you're done doing so-and-so's projects because, well, they just couldn't get to it, then maybe it's time to revamp your team with MidmoHires.com. Post your open positions along with a description of the job, pay, location, and other info too. You don't have to put up with someone's shenanigans for much longer. Post your openings now at MidmoHires.com. Great local companies hiring great local people. MidmoHires.com.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Rockbridge senior swimmer Ryan Kokenauer, who took home the state championship in the 100-yard breaststroke with a time of 55 seconds flat. This was Kokenauer's third top 4 state finish in the event.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight. Thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too. The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got the Big Show on KTGR.
All right. Coaching carousel dominoes might continue to fall here soon. This one, not quite yet, because Ole Miss, their vice chancellor for athletics, Keith Carter, put out a statement saying, essentially, an announcement on Coach Kiffin's future is expected the Saturday following the Egg Bowl. An announcement of an announcement.
Yeah. And I guess the reason they felt compelled to do this is that it was very widely leaked that Lane Kiffin was meeting with, I think it's LSU, is the likely landing spot for him if he doesn't stay at Ole Miss. And so, like, that's out in the ether. You're trying to figure out a way to maybe quiet the noise. This obviously isn't going to do that. What do you think it means, though? Does it mean Kiffin more likely to stay at Ole Miss, or is he gone?
No, gone.
You think it means
if he's staying, they would say the announcement today would be extension. Hey, Lane Kiffin, you're here, right?
What if, let me play devil's advocate. What if Lane Kiffin is that big of a goober? Like, he's never been known to get it right when it comes to gracefully leaving or staying at a place, right? He's the worst that's ever done it in this regard.
Yeah.
But what if he's just trying to have some fun? He's not 100% sure that he's staying at this moment, but he also kind of wants to hold the cards a little bit. But within his family, who, I mean, they're the ones traveling to LSU and in Baton Rouge. Everyone knows it. His son has an Instagram with LSU headphones. Could this just be an elaborate troll job? And then he gets the hero's welcome after they win the Egg Bowl. And that night he goes, I'm not bleeping leaving. And that fires everybody up. Maybe I'm naive. I still think there's a chance that that's what this is, though.
I think you would want to fire. They would be just as fired up if it happened today versus after the Egg Bowl.
And that's what pours cold water on my idea. But I'm still, if it was anybody else but Lane, I would say that you're right. But I'm still holding out a possibility that he's just pulling an elaborate troll for the love of the game, baby.
You don't want to lose the Egg Bowl and then announce the next day you're staying, right?
That's probably true, too.
That's not a great way to do it. I don't think. Not. I mean, maybe they're still a playoff team if they lose, but.
And what's a good way to lose the Egg Bowl?
No, not a good way. No.
A good way to lose the Egg Bowl is to announce that after the Egg Bowl, you're going to announce your coaching future and have that looming over the game.
Hey, good luck to Mizzou women's cross country. Their whole team gets to compete tomorrow, and then all the other athletes that are funneling into Columbia, Missouri for the NCAA cross country championships over at the Gants Creek course. It's been it's the perfect course for this type of event. They will get it, I'm sure, more often in the future, and can't wait to see it happen tomorrow with all levels of NCAA, D1, D2, D3. They're all here ready for the cross-country championships. Good luck to all those athletes tomorrow.
And they're all flying in on planes from various towns around the country.
Sure are,
just
yes.
making it more confusing
as we have
for
noticed.
those who are tracking the flights this week.
But hey, as we have been able to fire up our flight aware accounts, trying to figure out how this all works again, yeah, it maybe left some people a little bit off base. But either way, congrats to making it this far to all those athletes, and good luck tomorrow as you run for the title. All right, what you got between the Chiefs and the Colts on Sunday? Big one for the Chiefs. Must win, if you ask me. 5:05, we'll talk about it. All this coaching carousel talk. How does it affect the SEC rooting guide for 5:25? And our picks of the week coming your way at 5:45. Don't miss it.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing. Our decadent maple spiced blend that's won fans nationwide. Loved for how it smells and for how it makes you feel. Each cup brings back the comfort of a classic coffee morning. Cozy, nostalgic, maple spiced coffee. Shop Caldy'sCoffee.com for your bag today. Also available in pods.
Wishing you a season filled with the air is merrier when you get spirits rise, in fact they're soaring. Here to keep your fire roaring.
Happy holidays from Shangri-La Dispensaries. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Hi, this is Megan with Fortified Roofing and Siding. We've been with Zimmer for over 7 years. Zimmer helps Fortified Roofing and Siding grow with our brand message and our brand recognition year over year. Coming up with new strategies and brand messages, they allow us to become a business that is recognizable and well known due to our Powered by Puppies slogan. Griffin, what do you think? What's your favorite part of Zimmer?
You know business, we grow business. ZimmerCommunications.com.
You know your former golf bag? It's not just holding up the weed whacker on your garage wall. It's also holding cash. Same goes for that rowing machine you swore you'd use once. At Play It Again Sports, turn your gently used gear into money in your pocket. Bring in your old golf equipment, fitness gear, softball bats, baseball cleats, and more. Cash out and keep it, or trade up to something better. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
I'm Ed Benkin. First up, news from college football. Ole Miss says Coach Lane Kiffin will make his decision about his future on November 29th, one day after the Egg Bowl. According to ESPN's Pete Dowell, Missouri quarterback Beau Pribula is on track to return to play tomorrow against number 8 Oklahoma. Meanwhile, the NCAA voted today that its athletes and athletic staff will not be allowed to bet on professional sports. To the NFL and the injury news, as another Sunday is set to commence in 2 days with several key games and several key names still waiting to see if they can play. One, quarterback Joe Burrow questionable for his team's game against the Patriots. ESPN's Ben Baby says it was a shorter workout for Burrow today and had an update on the status for Sunday's game.
Despite Burrow being limited today and the Bengals not officially naming the starter, Burrow told me that he feels good and he got a full workload of practice, and he told me that he did not have any setbacks throughout that most extensive week of work.
Also questionable, Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers dealing with a wrist injury. Giants quarterback Jackson Dart is out for Sunday's game in Detroit. He's still recovering from a concussion. So Jameis Winston will again start in his place.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush,
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead,
Touchdown, Kansas City.
to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Getting set for Mizzou, Oklahoma tomorrow, of course. Get your predictions in for that, 573-875-KTGR. But also tell us who you got between the Chiefs and the Colts. Chiefs beat it on Sunday at noon. Will they get it? Tell us what you think at 875-5847. Also leave a comment on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. We're live right now, also on Facebook. And be sure to give us your predictions. We'll also talk some SEC rooting guide, some coaching carousel at 5:25, and our picks of the week at 5:45. Don't miss any of that. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Beau is back. That's the news from multiple reports, including Matt Zenitz and Pete Thamel. Beau Pribula expected to be a go for Mizzou as it takes on Oklahoma. 11 a.m. kickoff out there in Norman. Mizzou has not won in Norman since 1966. And when they take their crack at trying to do it this Saturday, Beau Pribula should be the starter. And look, it's amazing. I didn't think that we would see this when things happen the way that they did down in Nashville at Vanderbilt. But if he's recovered, if he's healthy, he went through practice today and is fully cleared from the medical standpoint, I think he does give Mizzou the best chance, but it's still going to be about managing the game. Run the ball, get positive yardage on first and second down, get into those third and shorts, be willing to be aggressive on fourth and short, execute, play great defense, and maybe there's a chance. I'm still not feeling great about the game, but you never know.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Mizzou basketball, heck of a win last night over South Dakota at Mizzou Arena, 102-68. Javon Porter, what a night that he had. Starting 9 for 9 shooting. He had 19 points, 12 rebounds in the game. 24 minutes, and they were great minutes at that, as the Tigers did cover the spread ultimately against South Dakota as they score 100 points. Yes, offensively, I think this Mizzou team is going to be very effective. We did get to see Anor Boateng get back into the mix. 14 minutes, 3 points scored. Hopefully more where that came from for the former top recruit.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3. Yes.
Chiefs, Colts, Sunday at noon. The Chiefs have to win this game to avoid falling below 500. They're already out of the playoff spot in the current version of the standings. Isaiah Pacheco has been ruled out again for this game, so it would seem that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to put the team on his back. Can he do it? Well, we'll tell you who we've got as we break this one down for the final time in just a couple of minutes.
Number 4.
Oh, it shanked it.
We do have St. Louis Cardinals news this evening as the Cardinals announced they have opted not to tender contracts to Jorge Alcala, which we already knew earlier this week. But left-hander John King, catcher Joel Pozo, and right-hander Sem Robertsa are all non-tendered, which means they're off the team for the time being. Jeff Jones writes on Twitter that maybe they would welcome Pozo back on a minor league deal at some point. But now the 40-man roster, it's down to 37. So, yes, there are always 40-man spots to be found.
Number 5.
What did the five fingers say to the face? Stop.
An announcement for the announcement. Yeah, nobody does the coaching carousel like Lane Kiffin. This guy is one of a kind in that regard. But honestly, I don't think the announcement today definitely means he's leaving Ole Miss.
That's The Big Show's top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875 KTGR if you want to shoot us a call or a text. But so just announce the extension today instead of an announcement of like, oh, we'll find out for sure.
That's not as fun. If you're Lane Kiffin and you hold all the cards,
right,
that's not as fun.
It's not as fun. Lane Kiffin's just here for a good time.
It's like a thou doth protest too much. Like if you do a little bit of trolling and hint at certain things, it makes me think that, oh man, this guy might really be going. When you take it to the level that he has, I almost think maybe he's just that little in self-awareness, but I almost think he's going so far over the top because in his heart, he knows it's all going to work out. in the end. That's kind of the way that I view it. I mean, I don't know who among us, if they had a chance to be the center of the college football universe for weeks on weeks at a time, wouldn't maybe take the opportunity to dip their toe into those waters and have a little bit of fun with it. Maybe that's all he's doing.
Just wants the attention?
Maybe just wants the attention. I don't know. He's just going YOLO mode on it.
I wouldn't want to invite the distraction if I were a football coach trying to win a rivalry game next weekend that ensures my playoff spot. Like,
yeah, he's just not your regular football coach. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm leaving open the possibility.
I understand.
Because we both thought earlier this week. Yeah. We did the coaching carousel thing earlier this week, and we both said he's staying. That was our opinion at that time.
That's true.
You flipped on that, like officially?
I'm starting to flake on that a little bit.
I'm not flipping yet. I'm going to go down with this ship, I think.
Just look, Ole Miss would be a great place for him to stay. Like, I would not mind him staying because he built that to what it's supposed to be. LSU's a better job, though.
Yeah,
it's still
and by the way,
job.
I hope he takes it. To be clear,
yeah, that would
because
be very helpful too.
If he does
keep Drink, yeah,
I think Drink's LSU's next coach. No. If Lane says no, that's
lots of dominoes still to fall. That's the biggest
Penn
one.
State hanging out there in the corner too. Nobody knows.
Auburn's out there.
Auburn's definitely still out there.
Yeah, lots to still be known, but we'll see if it becomes known very soon. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text with what you think on the whole situation. Okay. Chiefs and Colts this weekend. No Isaiah Pacheco, as Brendan mentioned, ruled out. I believe that's the third straight game he's missed with the knee injury. Even though he practiced all week. Like, still nothing. Still going to rule him out before the game or before, the end of Friday.
Before the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But
he practiced today?
He practiced today. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he was
weird.
out there. And Andy Reid said that there wasn't a setback or anything like that in his presser today.
He's a healthy scratch. He's just not very good.
Oh, man. Well, look.
He's not.
I mean, he's better than the alternative.
Probably so. Yeah.
But I will say this. That may not be giving enough credit to Kareem Hunt. Because, look. I know we only call running backs good when they go for 90 yards and a touchdown every game, but usually that doesn't happen. Kareem Hunt was good in the last game, I thought. He was giving the Chiefs a chance. He was keeping them on schedule. He was churning out at least 4 yards a carry, which is, well, you need to stay on schedule when you have the world's best quarterback. You should be able to get by like that. And if you do that again, you should be able to get by this Colts defense too. But we'll see if that ends up being the case.
Chiefs used to have the world's best quarterback, too. I remember those days.
Oh, my gosh. Get out of here.
He's just not playing very well.
He did not have a good game against the Broncos. They're all susceptible to bad games. Just see Josh Allen last night.
Yeah, he sucked. That was pitiful.
Great defense, though. Let's say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you feeling, Texans fan, about the way that unfolded? You gotta love it.
It's fine. They're still not making the playoffs, but it's fine. Like, it's cool. It feels good to beat the Bills back-to-back years.
You know who they're making the playoffs over?
Well, like, and maybe that's discussed. Did that hurt the Chiefs' chances
of course
a little
it
bit?
did.
You think it did?
Yes, it hurt the Chiefs.
I mean, I don't know if we know the definitive answer on that until we know the results of how the Chiefs did against the Texans, but it made that game a little bit more important, right? To be able to have to beat them once they come to Arrowhead in a couple of weeks.
I think definitively that result hurts the Chiefs because for the same reason we talked about it this week, you can't count on the Bills to lose so many that the Chiefs get above them by a full game in the standings because the Bills already took the tiebreaker against Kansas City. So, yes, it hurt. How much did it hurt? I don't know. Maybe not very much. Like you said, Chiefs win the game. They probably end up with the same record as the Texans and the Chiefs win the tiebreaker. But, like, it definitely didn't help because the Bills were, I still think as bad as they've been at times, the Bills aren't going to lose enough games to get below the Chiefs in the standings. At worst, the Bills would tie the Chiefs.
But the Chiefs with a win this weekend, they're only a game away from them.
Yeah, and I would say that is a win that's going to be tough to come by, but let's say they get it. The rest of the year thereafter, the Chiefs would have to be 2 games better than Buffalo.
1 game better than Buffalo.
2 games better than Buffalo.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that for the rest of the year, in order to jump them. Yes.
So, like, And that's after the Chiefs beat the Colts. They would then need to be 2 games better than the Bills.
Well, here's the thing.
So really,
I think if the Chiefs beat the Colts, I think there's a strong possibility that they only lose 1 or 2 more games the rest of the way. And so, like, if that happens, then it's on the table because the Bills still have the Patriots again in New England. They have the Eagles. They've got the rest of the AFC North other than the Ravens, which, I mean, they'll be favored in all 3 games, but you have to go to 2 of them, and there's some good defenses that the Steelers and Browns have. The
All
Jets
right,
will be an
Steelers,
easy
Browns,
win.
Bengals. Steelers, Browns, Bengals. What's the Bills' record in those games?
2-1.
Yeah. And then you've got Patriots, Eagles, Jets. You're going to take the Jets over the Bills?
No, but there could be 3
So
losses
3.
in there, I'm saying.
But you're saying 2-1 against the AFC North, 1 win over the Jets. That's 3 wins. Lost to the Patriots, lost to the Eagles. That puts the Bills, where would they end up?
If they go 3-3 the rest of the way, they'd be 10-7.
Yeah.
I've already told you that the target win total should be 11 for the Chiefs, to get there, and it's possible.
They'd have to beat the Colts. I would just, the thing of it is, and I think they'll be favored in most, if not all, of the games. But, like, I don't think you can guarantee they're going to run the table on the Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, and Broncos. They could afford to lose one of those games.
Yeah.
Not 2. They could afford, and I'll put the Colts in this one because technically, of those 5, like, I'm just going to give them Titans and Raiders because if not, what are we doing here?
Right.
But of the other 5, the Chiefs have to win 4 in order to eclipse the Bills and get to your 11 number, right?
Yeah. I think they're beating the Cowboys. I mean, we'll see how the Cowboys look against the Eagles at home this weekend. It is at home. It is in Dallas. So I think Dak Prescott has a better chance of playing well, but I would say the Chiefs get that win.
Mahomes once killed Christmas. You know what would be next up on his chopping block? Let's ruin Thanksgiving for everybody.
I don't know. I mean, look, I know they're up against it. I'm saying that let's not just call the Bills completely in the playoffs right now.
I think they're completely above the Chiefs.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you could say that.
Well, and that's all I'm saying, because that's why I would argue that, like, okay, sure, you knock the Bills down a peg, Texans. I think it's more damaging to add the Texans in as a wild card contender when before we were kind of assuming they'd lose last night and kind of assuming the Chiefs would beat them too. And so they weren't even on the radar. We're talking about the Jaguars and the Steelers more so than anything. And now there's another team that we're going to have to talk about. It's just like those wild card conversations in baseball where we think, man, that's a lot of teams to jump.
But again, like, beat the Texans in a couple of weeks and it becomes, I think, a moot point because you will have the same, if not a better record than them by that point that you beat them. And then they're going to have to jump other teams in order to get to a certain point. And so you're not even worrying about the Texans because you'll be getting wins that you need to get in order to jump the Jags or potentially the Chargers, whoever it may be. So
it's still 11 or bust, I think.
The game against the Texans now matters a little more than it did before, but I think once you beat them, then you're not worried about them anymore. So
I'll just say, I mean, I don't know about Texans at Colts next week, but I would say Texans hosting the Cardinals and Raiders are 2 pretty easy ones, and that gets them to 8. They play the Colts twice. If they split with the Colts, that's 9. But yeah, even if they beat the Chargers, that's 10. It's must win. Chiefs Texans is now must win, where I would say that could have been one of the games that if that's your spot to trip up, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. Now I don't think you can afford for that to be your tripping spot, assuming the Texans continue to play defense like they did last night. But really, it's all about the Colts game. Yeah, the Chiefs just need to win this Colts game, and everything I think would still be back on a very good track.
And we'll see what Patrick Mahomes can do to try and rebound from that game that he had in Denver. Because as Rob Veno told us, like, it just wasn't a very characteristic game of him. Missing some of those deep shots to Worthy and to Thornton. The interception that we saw essentially in the red zone that could have given the Chiefs a chance at some points, at least to tie, but they didn't get them. And so it set them back. I do think at home, he has a better chance of diagnosing what this Colts defense can do and will be in a lot better comfort zone. It's just that the numbers bear it out this year with how Mahomes has been performing. So to that degree, I'm not worried. And then the question just becomes, okay, can the Chiefs defense put a hurt on somebody? Like, here's kind of how I looked at it. And I was thinking of it watching Bills Texans last night. All you have to do is just take the Texans, not even their whole defense, just take the Texans pass rushers and put them on the Chiefs. Trade out the Chiefs pass rushers right now, including Chris Jones, with the Texans pass rush, and you have a super team. You have 10-0 right now, if that's the case. Like, just swap that out, and you have
about 10-0.
Yeah, you do. That you win all 5 of the games that you've lost if you have a pass rush like the Texans. And that's all you needed. It's not even any other defensive play. Keep the same linebackers, keep the same CBs and DBs, safeties, whatever it is. And you're talking about a 10-0 Chiefs team.
They'd have a much better record. I don't think they would definitively be 10-0. Mahomes still.
Who would they have lost to
on Sunday? You could have lost to the Broncos because you scored 19
could
points.
Have stopped Bo Nix on 3rd and 15 or several of the other third downs that he faced. Like, that's
totally true.
It could have won a rock fight still. Like, you
could have, but it's not definitive that you would have. I would say
I think it's very likely.
Very comfortably, I would make the comparison that they would be at least 8-2, but we don't know exactly what their record would be.
I just think of so many times where the Chiefs had a chance to close out a game with their defense, or maybe give themselves the chance to get the ball back in a game that they were behind with their defense. And like, it's just one strong pass rush in a key third down to give yourself that shot. And Mahomes, even if he's struggling in that game, is going to find what he needs to find to run a 2-minute drill and get the Chiefs exactly what they need. And so if it comes down to that, I got to be shown that the Chiefs pass rush is up to that challenge, even when you're taking on Daniel Jones. Like, give Daniel Jones time and he can tear you up. He's done it this year already.
Yeah, he hasn't, but Mahomes hasn't been 100% in like leading these miraculous comebacks this year. I mean, he's been very human at the position. So he needs to get back to being himself and not being a reason that they're losing games like he was against the Broncos. Just didn't play well. All that being said, like, I think I'm realistic about what he's done and what they have done as a team. And I'm also of the belief that they're going to roll in this game. I think they could win it by double digits. Like, I think they will comfortably. I think they're going to pass to do it. I think the Colts have given it up more through the air than on the ground. The Chiefs can't run the ball anyway. And to your point about Kareem Hunt, like, he's averaged 4.5 yards per carry the last couple of games, but like, you lost to the Bills, you lost to the Broncos with that. And it's just,
but he wasn't the reason. Like,
he wasn't the reason, but they don't have a lot of it's a replacement level run game, which is not to say a bad one. It's just replacement level. It's mid, and it's not something that they feel more comfortable leaning on. Like, again, I can say he wasn't bad, but he wasn't helping you win the game necessarily over what an impactful run game would be. Like, running the ball 13 times is the reason that they had to throw it 50, right? Like, Mahomes has taken on more of a load, I think, because of the mediocre nature of the run game. But that's not the point. I think this is a matchup where it's totally fine to lean on the pass. Mahomes has to play well. I think he will. They're at home. The Colts get absolutely gashed by tight end. I think Travis Kelce has the best game of his season. And I'm going to go over-under is actually pretty high. I think is it up to 50 or is it just below that?
It's around there, yeah.
It's a big number, 50.5. I'll go, I don't know if it's going to go crazy over or under that, but I think give me Chiefs 31, Colts 20.
That'd be healthy.
I think they're just going to handle business in this one.
By the way, Kingsley Suamataia questionable. That could be impacting how much they use the run game in this one as well. And Xavier Worthy questionable too for this one.
If he plays, I don't think Worthy's going to be a huge factor, just because I think that injury he's dealing with is real, even if he's able to suit up. But that doesn't mean that Rice and Kelce can't absolutely eat, and I think they both will.
Yeah.
And if Worthy's out or limited, you'll see Thornton jump. He'll have a play. You'll see Juju. You'll see these different guys make plays.
I mean, full practice today for him. So it was for Worthy. It was an upgrade from Thursday. So
he could play and not be a factor, though. I mean, Not 100%.
Not as far as like getting the catches that you expect him to get, but we'll be out there. They'll need to react to him. They'll need to respect what he can do. I say the Chiefs will win it 33-17.
See, you think it's a big blowout too, by even more of a margin than me. Was 33-17 the Cowboys score? Was that exactly the Cowboys score, or was it 33-16? The Monday night game.
Oh, Cowboys Raiders? I think it was 33-16.
33-16.
If you ask me.
I was like eerily close to what that one was. And that was a dominant performance by the Cowboys against a team that was overmatched. The difference is I don't know that the Colts are as putrid as the Raiders offensively, to where I'm respecting a little bit. Like, they'll get to 20, but I think that the Chiefs are they know what's at stake in this one. It's an era that's at stake, quite frankly. So, because if you lose this game, you can still run to the playoffs, but I can't continue to believe that you will. How many weeks in a row can we keep doing this where you're like, oh, this is a must-win game you win, and then when they lose, just go, no big deal. No, if they lose this game, I don't believe that they're going to make the playoffs. Doesn't mean they can't, but I'll be a skeptic that they won't get to 11 wins. I don't think, if they lose this game.
Well, you won't call me like saying for sure that it's going to happen at all. If they lose this one, because like it for the nature of the team and the fact that I just think you have to gobble up every home game that you can to give yourself a shot, considering the opponents that you have at home. I think it creates a lot more urgency with what you're trying to do. So, yeah, I think it will be a win that the Chiefs just handle their business in a similar way that they did against the Ravens at home, that they did against the Lions at home. Like, they can look like this against strong teams with strong records, and just and create final scores that might look embarrassing at the end. It's not to say that the other team was bad, although the Ravens were pretty bad at the time. Lamar Jackson came out of that game eventually, and the defense, like their defense has played much better so far now than it was back then. But I believe that the Chiefs will know how to put it together in a game like this. And if not, then we do have to question everything we thought about the Chiefs.
All right.
Going in. So
agreed.
We'll see. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text with your Chiefs Colts predictions here on the Big Show as that kicks off Sunday at noon. Jason says Mahomes starts running more this weekend. And, well, I would hope that he doesn't, but
I would hope he doesn't need to.
It seems that that's been I'll put it on my back by any means necessary type of game. And I hope that's not the type of game they have on Sunday. So we'll see for sure. More coaching carousel news, of course, to keep diving into. And how does it affect the SEC rooting guide for this weekend? Plus our picks of the week at 5:45 here on the Big Show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
There's no championship league for small business owners, but if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation, one-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at APIProjectFitness.com.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Colombia. Coco writes, Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a three-legged lean. Well, Coco, Kretsch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside.
It seems like the holidays are coming and going faster than ever before. In the current issue of Inside Columbia magazine, read about the timeless fall decor that transitions seamlessly from season to season. Get to know the team of handlers behind our favorite Missouri Tiger, Truman. And don't miss out on the next concert, carnival, party, or play with the Inside Columbia Community Calendar. This and much more in Inside Columbia magazine. Get yours at break time convenience stores or subscribe at InsideColumbia.net.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Larry's not too optimistic about this weekend for the Chiefs. He says, I'm worried about Mahomes. Something is wrong. I'm afraid the Chiefs lose. I mean, it could happen, but yeah, if it does happen, then yes, question everything you thought about this year's Chiefs team, because that's too many losses. That's too many losses for the time of year that we're talking here for this team under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's just very uncharacteristic. So yes, the question if something is terribly wrong.
If they don't win this game where it feels like everything sets up in their favor from a passing standpoint, again, I'll repeat it, the Colts are a top 10 rush defense, but pass defense, they've been more generous. So this should be one where they're able to get Mahomes and company going.
So we'll see what happens with that. Again, you can catch it on 96.7 KCMQ this Sunday. Coverage begins at 11 a.m., kickoff at noon between the Chiefs and the Colts. Okay, all kinds of coaching carousel news. I just wonder, Brendan, does it affect at all who you root for in certain games? Like what could happen in the coaching carousel? The SEC rooting guide, obviously, we've changed a bit how we even put it together, but I don't know if it changes how you maybe look at this weekend, which isn't all that heavy of a weekend.
No, there's college. Like 3 games besides ours from the SEC standpoint, and really nothing that I think impacts the carousel. Like Tennessee, Florida is interesting. Florida could win it. They could lose it. They're still looking for a head coach. So I don't think that makes too big of a difference in either direction.
Who do you want, though, like in that direction? Like,
I think I would enjoy watching Florida win. Florida dominates Tennessee in the Swamp, no matter the year. Doesn't matter. It's been, I think, a long time since the opposite results happened. Florida's +4 on the spread, so they're a home underdog. It would be funny for Tennessee to lose. I don't know. I haven't gotten a ton of opportunities to like really focus in on their demise this year. They've been a pretty good team, kind of in our same standing with where Mizzou's at. And they're definitely expecting to win this game. They're a better team than Florida this year, but they can't seem to get over the hump in the Swamp. Would be funny to see them lose. You know, it's kind of the opposite of our game this weekend, where we haven't been able to win in Norman, but they're obviously Oklahoma's the better team this year. So
I really want, it's not going to happen. I want to see Kentucky win.
Oh, that
against
one's
Vandy.
easy.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, man. Wouldn't that be something?
I've soured on, because I had said we're very close to having the setup that I was looking for of Vandy to come in needing its 10th win against Tennessee, and then maybe Tennessee being able to win that and spoil the party for Vanderbilt. But I don't think Vandy's making it either way. Like, they would need chaos in front of them, right, to get into the CFP.
I think so.
So I think maybe it would be funnier to have all the Vanderbilt fans anticipating and talking themselves into, and maybe they'd be right, that, you know, if you beat Tennessee on the road, you'll get enough of a bump, plus, you know, whatever teams ahead of you may lose, that Vandy could potentially be in the playoffs still. But it might be funnier to see them just lose to Kentucky and never get to the point where that Tennessee game has the meaning it otherwise would.
Right, because if Tennessee lost to Florida, it'd be like, no, it's not as good of a win. It would, I think, would still be a quality win if we were talking objectively about Vanderbilt going to Tennessee and getting that victory. It would just look a little bit worse because look what they just did the last weekend. So, yeah, a 10-2 Vanderbilt getting left out. It would suck for Vanderbilt fans, but it'd be kind of funny.
Kind of funny how the tables have turned from where I was, however, like a month ago.
6 weeks ago, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Was it October 25th at Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
So, yeah, not even a month ago.
Pretty insane. Do you want Arkansas to beat Texas this weekend?
I'm going to go ahead and say, like, if it happens, obviously it'll be funny. But officially, I would rather Texas blow them out, because I really do still need Missouri to reach 8 wins this year. So if this weekend doesn't go so well, I don't want to be going into Fayetteville with them kind of riding a high or looking like a better team than I currently believe them to be. And for them to win at Texas, I think that would mean I'm like, oh man, they are even a little bit more dangerous than I thought. And I already think Arkansas is dangerous. Beau Pribula playing at Arkansas, I feel better about it than I do Zollers, just because I think there's a lot more ways to reasonably beat a bad defense when you've got experience on your side at QB. So I still feel like, you know, that should be a win in Fayetteville, but stranger things have certainly happened. And if Arkansas is suddenly a world beater, you know, that offense combines with maybe a little bit better defense than we've seen them play. They held LSU to only 23 points, or 22 points. It was an ugly game.
I kind of see that game, and I mean, we can get more into it next week, but I view it similarly to Mississippi State. Just run the dang ball until they stop it. It will not matter who's a quarterback. Like, just give it to Hardy or Roberts. They can do the same thing against that defense, and you can get to 30 or 40 that way, if you ask me.
And it's not like it's going to be a menacing environment. I mean,
no.
I checked a few weeks ago, and tickets were like $8 on the secondary ticket market. No, I'm not going to Fayetteville. If we were playing for our 10th win, I would have talked the wife into that one, I think. Yeah, $9 is the current going rate for a ticket. So it's a doable road trip, but Arkansas didn't do us any favors of being halfway decent to feel like it's a, you know, meaningful game from that standpoint. And we didn't do our job. You know, we're not playing for that 10th win in the regular season. So, but you're right. I shouldn't fear the game. Like, play the game. We're a better team than Arkansas. Let's go win it. I don't know. If they beat Texas, I'll be like, uh-oh, what's that mean? What's that mean? Right. But don't get me wrong. I'll enjoy watching Texas suffer if it happens. So I'm good either way on Arkansas, Texas.
My last one, go Coastal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not my last one.
Oh, is it?
I'll root for Western Kentucky too. It's a smaller spread than Coastal.
Yeah.
Coastal is plus 24.5 at South Carolina.
Yeah.
Western Kentucky is 21.5 at LSU. I actually think either of those could actually happen. One of them could happen.
At least one. I think
maybe both.
Maybe both.
That parlay would be nuts if you went money line on both.
Night game at Death Valley though. Like,
I know, but
that's
they
magical.
Can't score.
Like,
Andy, they played Arkansas.
It usually doesn't matter though. Like, it's like, again, they are a better team because they are not coached by Brian Kelly. True. And I think they probably won't cover, but I think they'll be fine.
LSU scored 23 points against Arkansas.
It's not great.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm trying to look up Arkansas's other recent scores. Mississippi State scored 38. Auburn scored 33.
Yeah.
Auburn scored 33, and that was a road game for Auburn.
Yeah.
A&M scored 45, Tennessee 34, Notre Dame scored 56. Like, you haven't seen anybody. Memphis scored 32, Ole Miss scored 41.
Yeah.
Like, that's every power opponent, and then some that aren't power opponents, like a Memphis. So
I
LSU?
was maybe more entertained potentially by Coastal getting it done. That would
be very fun.
The Beamer press conference after that would be one for the ages.
I can't do this. We're 10 days away from me being able to like throw these out and have them be relevant to people. But I pulled it up. Jurisdiction of legality. If you said Western Kentucky and Coastal are both going to win, you could bet $1 to win $180.
Yeah. Find a river for now. In about a week, you won't have to anymore. But go find a river for now.
That's funny. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be a funny one. No, I don't think that. Yeah, there's Charlotte, Georgia. No, it's a 43-point spread.
Yeah.
So nothing really else from the SEC. So there you have it.
Yeah, that's our SEC
Kind of a lean
rooting
week.
guide. But next week will be much more
USC Oregon. What you got?
Oregon. I'll say Oregon.
Okay.
On that. We'll see.
I don't think I would mind if USC won. It'd be kind of funny.
I don't have a strong inkling, but I'll just say Oregon. I just like Oregon as a team better. All right. Will either of us take it in the picks of the week? We'll get to that next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Beau Pribula, according to multiple reports from Pete Thamel of ESPN and Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports, is in line to start tomorrow's game for Mizzou football against Oklahoma. He suffered a dislocated ankle 4 weeks ago, but the reports say he has been looking good at practice, and the expectation is that he will give it a go against the Sooners tomorrow. Tigers are looking for their first win in Norman in football since 1966. And looking to beat a top 10 team as Oklahoma is ranked number 8. Kickoff set for 11 a.m. Yingling Tiger Game Day show begins at 8 a.m. right here on KTGR. Mizzou men's basketball remains unbeaten with a 102-68 victory over South Dakota last night. Javon Porter with a double-double, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 9 of 9 from the floor. As Mizzou is 6-0, their next game will be against South Carolina State next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And the Chiefs will not have Isaiah Pacheco for the third straight game as they get set to take on the Indianapolis Colts at Arrowhead Stadium. Kickoff is set for Sunday at noon. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson. Looks like some clouds
To raise prices on materials. We have called up to collaborate with some of our large vendors that we work with to offer some year-end promotions. If you're looking to replace your roof, upgrade your deck to composite, replace your old worn-out windows and doors, give us a call. We also offer several financing options to meet most budgets. Your project must be purchased by the end of the year. This is a unique opportunity to save some money on your next home renovation.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
You could be right in the middle of celebrating a big win, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got ants on the counter or mice in the garage. Hi, I'm Mike Kelly. As someone who's called buzzer beaters and game winners for 3 decades, I think the best call that you can make is to Steve's Pest Control. I'm on the road a lot during the season, which is why I've signed up for Steve's 5-star pest control program. It's comforting to know that even when I'm not home, Steve's Pest Control is protecting my house from termites and other pests. Plus, the 5-star program keeps the pests at bay, controlling and eliminating them before they have a chance to enter your home. Scheduling is incredibly easy. You don't even have to be home. And if a pest problem pops up at any time, Steve's will perform a retreat for no additional charge. Call Steve's Pest Control today and ask about their 5-star pest control program so you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy, Brendan, and producer Ben getting set for this edition of the Picks of the Week for college football and NFL. And this coming after a week where I think we've done this before. We all went 2-3. What happened? I don't know how that happened, but I guess that's what we got to deal with. We got to find out who goes first now.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be. We're all too nice. We want you take it. Oh, you take it. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't care. You could decide the order if you'd like. Nobody deserves to pick it from last week, but I guess somebody's got to do it. So what do you want to do?
We're going to make Ben do it. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah. Ben's going to pick the order.
I'm going to pick the order?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
And he's still too nice to do it also. This is the
too
problem.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm too nice, but I haven't been in this position all year. The producers, we haven't done amazing to get into this position. So it's kind of foreign land for me, but I'll just stick with it's kind of done best for me so far. I'll have the producers go first. And I'll do let's go Brendan second, Andy third. I don't like Brendan rounding it out. I feel like every time that we've had him rounded out, he's done really, really
too
well.
Comfortable there. Yeah.
He has had to deal with that a lot this year, but has done very well anyway. Brendan's still leading the season standings. Producers and we're not tied. I'm not going to do the math to see who's ahead, but the producers have some draws in there and I don't. So we'll have 5 picks apiece from college football and NFL. Here are the games that we're picking from in college. USC at Oregon, Kentucky at Vanderbilt, Arkansas at Texas, Tulane at Temple, Pitt at Georgia Tech, Tennessee at Florida, BYU at Cincinnati, and Mizzou at Oklahoma. Then the NFL games, Steelers at Bears, Patriots at Bengals, Vikings at Packers, Jaguars at Cardinals, Eagles at Cowboys, Bucks at Rams, Monday night game, Panthers at 49ers, and of course the Colts at the Chiefs. Producers, start us off.
All right, I'll start in the college realm and give me Texas at home over Arkansas. It's a big line, as a decent amount are in the college realm this week that I've been looking towards. 8.5. Look, I don't think Texas is going to lay an egg after last week's loss against Georgia and Arkansas until they can prove to me that they can kind of hang with a team and even win a game. They've been close in a few, but they haven't looked very impressive to me, so I'll have to roll with the Longhorns.
Man, that's interesting. I'm thinking about a fade right off the top. I don't think I'll go there just yet. I kind of like Kentucky this week, plus 8.5. At Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has not been as impressive of late as you'd want them to be for a team still trying to make the college football playoff. And Kentucky, I think, is feisty. They've got a pretty underrated defense in some of the ways that it's performed recently. So plus 8.5. Yeah, it's on the road, but took all week for Vanderbilt even to sell that thing out. So in that tiny little stadium, I think the Wildcats of Kentucky can keep it within 8.5 points at Vandy.
Which would be quite disappointing from Vandy if that happened, honestly. Even if they win by 3 or 4 points, like that's a team that's still, they have to get some help, but I would think that a team in their position would be wanting to get a blowout win there to try and impress. But I don't know if they're capable of it.
If you're Vandy, you don't want people to be able to say, yeah, but you only beat Kentucky by a field goal.
Exactly.
Like, you need to win that one handily.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I'm going to start in the NFL. I don't know if it's official yet, but it seems that it's going that way. I'm going to take the Bengals +7 if Joe Burrow plays, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that he does play by me taking the pick. I don't know if they'll win the game, but the offense will keep them in it. Patriots do have a very good defense, but the Bengals will be playing at home, and if they're able to keep pace, I'm sure that Joe Burrow can keep pace with Drake May, just talent-wise. So I will say that the Bengals keep it close within a touchdown against the Patriots at home.
All right, second pick. I'll flip to the NFL as well, Andy, and I'll go to the Eagles-Cowboys game and give me the Eagles on the road. The road favorites against the Cowboys, but I've seen this play out all too well for Dallas this year. Too much of a roller coaster of a team, have some high highs and some low lows. Go on Monday Night Football, beat the Raiders, look pretty impressive in the win, and I think they'll lay an egg at home against the Eagles, lose them a second time this year, and go back down into the trough of the roller coaster of the season it's been so far for them.
Yeah, Cowboys only a 3-point underdog, and I know the Eagles offense has been struggling to figure things out even as they've been winning these big games, but I think the cure might be facing that Cowboys defense. Although they have played better recently. They've gotten some guys back healthy. I know we joke about Jerry Jones at the trade deadline, but they made a couple of moves, and the defense is looking okay for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll say this. I'd like it a lot better if it was 3.5. 3's close, but if you gave me that hook, I'd probably do it.
You might go Cowboys.
And like Dak Prescott looks a lot better at home than he does on the road. So like I'm thinking about it, but I don't like the 3 versus the 3.5.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm going to wait for now, and we'll kind of leave that hanging. I think if I don't take this soon, it's going to be gobbled up. I don't think I've done it all year, but I'm going to beat Andy to the punch on Chiefs -3.5. I think this one just has to be a game that they roll. They know they need it. I do respect what the Colts are doing this year, but I think the Chiefs are going to get right with this game and win it pretty handily at home.
Seems that we kind of the same deal. Different team at home versus on the road. And so I do think you're right there, Brendan, that they'll win by 4 or more. So we'll see. Big Show is on KTGR and the KTGR app. We're doing our picks of the week to close out the week. So now I've got to go somewhere else because I was looking at that one. I'll go
I kind of figured.
Yeah. Cincinnati, I think, wins against BYU at home. That's a game that BYU needs a lot more. I understand that, but I think on the right day, Cincinnati's a pretty dangerous team, and I think this can be the right day for them. And they're getting 2.5 at home, so I'll say Cincinnati wins that game outright against BYU.
All right, I'll stay in the NFL realm for mine, and give me the Panthers on the road, Monday Night Football in San Francisco, technically Santa Clara, but against the Niners. They've played pretty well this year. They're a sneaky 6-5, I think, off the top of my head. They performed pretty well so far this year in a primetime game. I think they'll be able to keep it close. Don't like that there's another hook. I realize that both NFL games I've picked, there are 0 hooks on those. So probably end up being pushes in the producer world. But I think that the Panthers can keep it close. Bryce Young's looked a lot better the past few weeks. Had a big win on the road last week against the Falcons. I think they can keep it close, if not win it on Monday night.
Man, I wasn't looking at that game at all, but I feel like the opposite is maybe the case. When there's a number that big, it could be that there is a reason, and this ends up being like a double-digit game. I got other games I like more, honestly, but I think I'm just feeling frisky, so I'm just going to right straight away fade you. 49ers minus a touchdown, -7. If we push, we push together.
Fair. Done that before several times this year, I think. Yeah, Brendan has 3 pushes. Producers have 2. They have 2. I think the producers 2 were also Brendan's, if I'm not mistaken. I
might be.
Back and look.
I think you might be right.
But either way, yeah, that's a prime candidate for that. I honestly think Brendan's on the right side, though. So we'll see what that looks like. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to college. on this one. Not actually, but I meant the college games. I'll take Tulane. Look, they need style points, right? Like they need to keep climbing up those rankings. They see a CFP bid right in front of them, and that their important game in the conference championship will be key. But I think this is the time of the year where they lock in and they just crush a bad Temple team on the road. It's a 9.5 point spread, but I think Tulane wins by double digits. So give me Tulane.
Hey, I'll flip back to the college realm as well, and this might be a little bit more of a pick, maybe with my heart than my brain. Too much on this one. Give me Georgia Tech at home. 2.5 point favorites against Pitt. And I still think Georgia Tech's a pretty solid team. Only got one loss on the year. Not exactly sure because the ACC is wide open with their conference championship bid. I don't know how that's all going to shake out with all the teams that are at towards the top there. But mainly what I saw last week with Pitt coach Pat Narduzzi saying, we could lose by 100 to Notre Dame. It doesn't matter. All we have to do is win our conference games. I feel like it was kind of a low blow to if you're playing on the team. Like, I guess this game doesn't really matter in November-ish. That's a weird thing for a coach to say. So I also like Georgia Tech a lot this year. I think they got a little bit of credit taken away from them with their loss against NC State. I still think they're a solid team. I think they're going to compete, and I like them at home against Pitt.
Yeah, that's not really one I want to fade you on. I was considering Georgia Tech as well. I am thinking about circling the wagons a little bit on the BYU thing. I know Andy's been a hater of them all year, so I wasn't surprised to see him go with the Cincinnati side on that game. But I'm going to take another SEC game that nobody's touched yet, and I don't really feel super great about it, but I think it could make for a fun, interesting football watch if it happens. Arkansas plus 8.5 on the road at Texas. Yeah, you could play the bounce back angle for Texas after they got smacked by Georgia, but I also think that we've seen Texas in that defense give up points to teams like Arkansas. I mean, they had to go to overtime to overcome Mississippi State. This could be another one-score game where Arkansas just hangs around because of their offense. So I'll take the Hogs plus 8.5 on the road.
I am going to fade the producers on Georgia Tech. I think Pitt's better. I think they win this game. And this is essentially, it's not quite a play-in yet because both of them have to play the next week and win the next. Well, for Georgia Tech it is because Georgia Tech plays out of conference because they'll have Georgia afterwards. This is their last conference game. They put themselves in very good position if they can win it. But I just think Pitt's a better team. I think they'll go on the road and win this one, but getting plus 2.5 I think is an extra value. So give me Pitt. I like them.
Fair. Man, there's not a whole lot of games left on here that I'm really high on. Obviously, it happens when you get this late in the picks of the week, but I think I'll go back to the NFL realm for this one and give me the Packers at home minus 6.5. I think that they've kind of struggled this year. Maybe a team that was probably favored to win the Super Bowl preseason, and even first few weeks of the season looked really well, but they've hit a little bit of a rut, but I think they can get back on their feet at home at Lambeau against the Vikings, who haven't been all too impressive as of late. J.J. McCarthy hasn't looked all too awesome. So I think the Packers, they got less than a touchdown they have to cover. I think they can win it by a touchdown at home this weekend.
Yeah, and I have a strong feeling about that either way. It has been difficult to watch J.J. McCarthy in some of these games where the Vikings, when they play good defense, gives them a chance. But I think the Packers really need to get right game as well. They've been kind of playing with their food a little bit too often. I don't know if I love this, but I want to kind of root for chaos. And so I think the 10 points is a lot to give that USC offense. Oregon's played really good defense. We've joked about how they've kind of really truly been indoctrinated into the Big Ten with some of the lower scoring games that they have played. But USC getting 10 points, it is on the road, but you're not really talking about the situation with the rest of the Big Ten teams having to go east to west. You're already out west if you're in Southern Cal. So give me USC. It's an old Pac-12 battle. I'm going to take the Trojans plus the 10 on the road and hope that they can keep it close.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think they'll both struggle early on. We'll see if one pulls away, but I have a feeling USC has a good chance in that one. There's not a lot that I like otherwise. I guess I'm the last person to potentially take a side in the Mizzou-Oklahoma game here.
Yeah,
so,
none of
us did that.
So far.
I don't know if I want to touch either side in that, so I'm going to stay away from it. Instead, I'll I'll fade a team that I just don't like the trend recently. I don't like the way the Bucs are trending at this point, and they have to go to LA to take on the Rams now, who have looked like maybe arguably one of the best teams in the league. They are having to lay 6.5 in this game, but I just think that the opposite directions these two teams are heading, I don't think anything changes this weekend for that, especially in a primetime game. I'm going to say the Rams win by a touchdown or more at home against Tampa Bay to close out the picks of the week here. Hopefully,
it's kind of crazy for the last pick that I think you got some really good value there, honestly. The Rams are cooking right now.
They're a juggernaut at the moment. And it's just the defense has been crushing people into rubble. And the Bucs, I know that they scored it well against the Bills on the road, but this is a different animal, and we'll see what the Rams are able to do with that. Hopefully none of us tie this week. There's a chance for some pushes, obviously. Maybe we'll just shoot for not all three of us having the exact same record like we did last week, but those are our picks of the week. Be sure to join us as we recap them next week. And thank you for joining us today. Thanks also to Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com for joining us. We've got high school basketball action coming your way tonight, 7:15 pregame, Battle and Kirkwood to open up the regular season. Hope you join us for that. And don't forget, Yingling Tiger Game Day show at 8 a.m. tomorrow before Mizzou takes on Oklahoma. We'll see you on Monday. He's Brendan. He's producer Ben. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
My name is Josh Arnold, and I've been working at Zimmer Communications for over 5 years. When I first